wird jetzt zurückgeworfen.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. We will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
Ich frage euch, wollt ihr den totalen Krieg? Wollt ihr, wenn nötig, totale und radikale, als ihr ihn uns heute überhaupt erst vorstellen können?
The Nazis entered this war under the rather childish delusion that they were going to bomb everybody else and nobody was going to bomb them.
You have to present a convincing level of distress so that the long-planned military intervention that is being prepared, and has been since at least May 1939, can be credibly presented as an act of national defense. And that calls for agitation, propaganda, reports of alleged Polish atrocities against German civilians.
Einfach ausschlachtbares Propagandamaterial.
The whole charade was staged to persuade the international public, and especially the Germans, that this was war in self-defense, that Germany was the victim, not the aggressor.
So that they mash and work together like teeth in a gearbox.
Wie in einem Getriebe die Zähnchen in sich greifen.
A key role is played by aerial reconnaissance, which is generally performed by Dornier 17s and Henschel 126s. The crews take photographs, which are then minutely analyzed on the ground. A propaganda film documents their work.
Geschulte Fachoffiziere und Mannschaften ermöglichen durch gute Arbeitsteilung die strategische und taktische Auswertung der von den Aufklärern eingebrachten Beute. Das entwickelte Material gibt der Führung wichtige Unterlagen für Planung und Durchführung weiterer Operationen.
We don't know whether there really was some kind of guerrilla war in Poland, but the Wehrmacht certainly came to believe they were caught up in one. Then they started shooting at anything that moved.
The Nazi propaganda machine prefers to present other images. Since the war started, Adolf Hitler has paid regular visits to troops in the field, and he makes sure they are filmed. Here, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces salutes German units crossing the River San.
Hitler likes to be seen with the troops during the Polish campaign. He does so primarily for propaganda reasons, of course, to show Germans that their Führer and Chancellor is now also a soldier. He knows what it's like. He knows from the First World War what it's like to be a simple serviceman on the front line. And for the troops, the message is, he is with you. The attention is to boost morale, of course, and strengthen the bond between members of the armed forces and their Führer and Supreme Commander.
What is more, the Wehrmacht cannot cope from the outset with the large number of prisoners. On the 8th of September, the 7th Army Corps of Army Group South reports that conditions behind the rapidly advancing ground force are appalling. More than 6,000 prisoners and internees are entirely without food and virtually unguarded. A total of 400,000 Polish soldiers fall into German captivity during the campaign. Many of them are later deported and forced into slave labor. On the 17th,
blanket bombing always targets civilians. The point is that this is the first time it was used in the Second World War. It's also perhaps important to note that it was not the British or Americans who ordered the first bombing raids. The first blanket bombing was carried out by the German Luftwaffe. Nothing.
Ansonsten seid ihr zu nichts nütze. Es geht nicht darum, das Leben
for the civilian population. The purpose of administration and government is to extract the most from the Poles and secure German authority. Civilian suffering is accepted from the start. If the food situation is bad, if the harvest is poor, let them starve. That is more or less the attitude. Then there is the extremely brutal treatment of the Polish Jews in the general governorate, and there are around 2 million of them.